Found out I'm 22F, pregnant, and it's hard seeing everyone else who is be happy with their pregnancies. I don't know if this is the right subreddit to post this in, and if it is not, I'll delete this. My boyfriend, 23M, and I, 22F, found out I'm pregnant not too long ago, and we had a very serious conversation about what our options are. We can't keep it and raise it as our own since we think we financially cannot afford it. We don't know what to do, but keeping it is not an option, sadly. It's so hard to scroll through social media and see other couples happy with their pregnancies, having baby showers, and buying things for their baby. Knowing I can't do this kills me. I just cry and cry. It's depressing to see this. I just can't be happy with myself at all. I'm happy that other couples are excited for the next chapter in their lives, but it's just depressing to me. I feel like I'm being a baby with my emotions. Sigh. Edit. Wow, thank you all so much for all the kind words and the advice you're all giving me. Despite the few people who have rude things to say to me, I'm very thankful for you all. I didn't expect this post to blow up so much. I have my first OB appointment this Friday early in the morning, and this will determine what my partner and I do with the baby. Also, thank you guys for the awards. I've never gotten them before. Yeah, maybe deleting your social medias for a while wouldn't be a bad idea. Either way, I hope you have an appointment with a doctor scheduled soon. If you decide to abort, the earlier the better, and if you decide on adoption, you will need checkups. It's okay to not know for sure what you want before going in. Yes, the earliest appointment I could get was for this upcoming Friday early in the morning. This appointment is going to really determine what we do with this baby. Avoid social media for a while. Take a break from social media while you come to terms with things. But I placed a child for adoption and had an abortion. My situation was different than yours, but reach out if you wanna talk. Nope, you're just human and not selfish. Only you know what's best for you and that baby. My dad wants me, 17F, and my boyfriend, 18, to break up because he heard me talk about condoms. I, 17F, and my boyfriend, 18 meters, were at the mall today because he wanted to buy stones/oils. He's Native American and practices with spiritual energy, and my dad called me while we were at the checkout. He was asking me if I'd be fine with pizza again for dinner because neither him or mom feel like cooking. I said I don't care, you know I'll eat pizza all day, and he starts asking what I want on it. My boyfriend was handing me a bag and I told my dad I'll text him what I want. Can't believe he doesn't know how I like my pizza. My dad said okay bye, and I said bye. I pulled my AirPod out for a second because it felt like it was falling out, then put it back in. I assumed he hung up since he typically hangs up as soon as he says bye. Me and my boyfriend were exiting the store. I pointed to GameStop and said we should get some games right quick. He said nah, too much maskless people. Then I pointed at Spencer's and said let's go to Spencer's. Do they sell condoms in there? We need more, and I want it. Or my boyfriend shrugged and was about to say something, but I heard stuff moving in the one AirPod I had in my ear. I got confused until I hear my dad repeating my name in a serious tone. I said yes. You didn't hang up? And he said no, take your boyfriend home then come home now. I pulled my phone out of my pocket to actually end the call. Then I groaned and told my boyfriend. After I drop him off, I come home to a very angry dad and a nearly 1 hour lecture. Then he asked for my boyfriend's number so he could call and yell at him too. When he was done I texted my boyfriend sorry, and he replied with next time please make sure your call has ended. I started to call him to rant, but my dad snatched my phone from me and told me he's keeping it. Said that's not fair because I bought it, and he said it doesn't matter. He told me I need to break up with my boyfriend now. I told him that's not happening. He told me if you don't tell him then I'll tell him myself. Just left and went to my room. I'm using my iPad right now and I FaceTimed my boyfriend. He told me that I need to stand up for myself, but I don't think I can because I'm subject to my dad's damn rules. I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years. I don't want to break up. What do I do? All I can think of is calling my mom. She's a neighborhood away. Dads are so gross about their daughter's virginity, vomiting face. Yeah, my dad asked me if I wasn't a virgin anymore when I was 22 and told him I planned a trip with my BF of 3 years. He was aware of my relationship and knew the guy, so that was just such a weird question. I guess he was under the impression that daughters just hold hands with their boyfriends until at least 30 years. Or marriage lol. Next time he gets upset, ask him if he'd rather you not practice safe sex. But seriously, he'll get over it at some point, and good on you and your BF for being responsible with your sex life. My girlfriend's father tried to kill me when I was 17 after he found out we had sex. He had hidden weapons in his sweatshirt pocket. She was 18 and of age. Boy came strapped with that Ubisoft assassin blade. At least you are having protected sex and not unprotected sex. Kudos for being responsible. I have been exposed to the same behavior of my mom when I was about your age. It is sometimes really difficult for parents to see their kids grow up and hear that they are sexually active. They get overly protective, think that you will get pregnant tomorrow. Thank God you seem to be smart and don't let your dad win. In this case, he is definitely in the wrong for taking your phone and telling you to break up with your boyfriend. This is just an emotional response of something that he doesn't like to face, but that every parent has to face at one point, their kids growing up and them slowly losing more control over you. Be smarter than your dad and don't allow him to intervene in your life like that. Make sure he knows that it is normal for your age to be sexually active and that you and your boyfriend are happy. Give him some time to cool down and think. Hopefully he will realize that he is in the wrong. If he keeps being angry and irrational, please contact your mom and explain her what happened. Maybe she can cool him down and talk some sense into him. Smile. Would I, F19, be in the wrong for telling my boyfriend, 18, that I am upset that he spent my birthday with his ex-girlfriend? Okay, admittedly, the situation is a little bit more complex than what's only written in the title, as my boyfriend and I live in separate states. We live in the United States. Being long distance, until we are with each other when we take the time to visit, the only type of communication that we have is through our phones. This being said, about a week ago we had one of these visits. I am not sure if it is important to note, but during this time there were multiple occasions where I noticed that he was texting his ex-girlfriend throughout various days of the trip. I wasn't trying to look over at his phone, which is why I'm not sure what the content of the messages were. However, I did see them messaging at least 3 times a day for a few days of the visit. This had me feeling quite uneasy, given that we only have a limited amount of time together when we do see each other IRL, and while I don't expect him to spend all of his time with me and off the phone, something about the fact that the person I constantly saw him texting was his most recent ex, just made me feel uneasy. On top of this, just the day after he got back, he went to hang out with her alone, but assured me that he was just doing it to establish that they could be no more than friends. Still though, me being a naturally anxious person, and admittedly a bit paranoid, this still shook me and had me feeling, not angry, but just, well, upset. I expressed this to him because I figured that communication was more important than me being embarrassed about my rational thoughts, but also assured him that I fully trusted him and did not expect, or even really want him to stop talking to her because I knew how unfair that would be. Still, I thought he should know how I felt, and he agreed and told me that he gets the same feeling when I even go to hang out with my guy friends in general, so not to feel badly. I should add that this is because he thinks I'm out of his league, which is not true, and that my friends are all attractive. He also accepted the fact that this situation was a little different, as my guy friends and I cannot stress this enough, have always only ever been platonic. Then he told me he would tell her they could not hang out one-on-one, and I reminded him that that was not necessary and that it was more important that I figure out a way to be comfortable with it so I would not be dictating friendships. His response was that it was fair to feel the way I did, and he did not mind telling her that he was not comfortable hanging out alone. It pretty much ended there. It's important to note that while I realize that he should be able to have relationships with whomever he wants, and that I really do trust that he is fully monogamous and would not cheat on me, I cannot help but feel anxious about the situation. Another thing that should be said is just before he came to visit me the other week, he told me that she was messaging him very suggestive content which was making him very uncomfortable. I appreciated his honesty, and still do, but it makes me wonder why he would even want to continue talking to her. I just can't see myself doing the same thing, so some perspective on that would be helpful. Smile. Last side note, this is his last ex-girlfriend who he dated not even a year ago, and broke up with due to factors outside of the relationship. Okay, so back to the title. It was recently my birthday, and I've been missing him more than anything since he left, so really my only wish was to be able to have his attention and love for at least half of the day. Sorry in advance if that's selfish. The night before, he told me the next day he would be hanging out with a friend of his at night, so he was going to talk to me during the first half of the day, and respond to me slowly during the last half, just mostly occasional check-ins. I was actually really satisfied and happy with this, cause it meant we were getting some time for us to talk consistently but also allowing time for both of us to spend with some of the people in our hometowns. So when the day came, by midday he was talking to me and giving me all the affection that I have been craving so badly since he left, and I was doing the same. It was really nice, and we were able to leave on a good note to go hang out with each of our friends. Then, while I was at a mini gathering a couple of my friends in a park, he told me he was having fun, and that his friend and him were going to be meeting up with some more people. I told him that was sweet and asked who. He told me it was going to be his ex and her friend. Again, just like after he hung out with her that first time, I started feeling a bit sad, even though this time he was with her in a group. This made me feel terrible because not only do I feel bad about making him feel guilty about hanging out with his ex alone, but now I am going even deeper and feeling this way when they're just in a group setting. However, this time it was a different type of upset. It was more upsetting because I kept thinking about how his ex got to see him on my birthday and I did not. So that poses the question, which I think I may already have the answer to, but would appreciate the opinions of the people reading this now. Would I be wrong to tell my boyfriend that I feel upset, not with him but just in general, because he spent my birthday with his ex-girlfriend, even if we are in different states and the only way we possibly could have spent it together would be over the phone? My gut tells me it is wrong and that I am being selfish for being hurt by the fact that he was having fun with his ex on my birthday, which after all is really just a superficial holiday, so I should just ignore it. On the flip side, I know I have trust issues that this probably is all stemming from, and letting it fester without communicating could do more harm than good in the long run. I want to tell him but do not want him to feel guilty or bad about anything cause really he didn't do anything wrong. He told me he'd only hang out with her in groups, which he was doing, and which he shouldn't have to feel obligated to do in the first place, and we agreed we wouldn't talk as much the last half of the day. Plus he was affectionate with me for a good chunk of the afternoon. I know that I am being irrational, so whether or not my feelings are valid is not the question I'm looking for an answer to. What I want to know is, should I tell him about these feelings or ignore them altogether? I need help. P.S. I can't go to my friends about this because they are super overprotective and their advice is literally always the same, which is go on defense mode, which is something I don't think is fair, right or helpful to do, especially in this situation. Short, should I tell my long-distance boyfriend that I am sad about him spending my birthday with his ex-girlfriend despite knowing that it might make him feel guilty? Hi, since a lot of people are mentioning that it seems like I have trouble communicating it seems like he's causing me to have low self-confidence. I just want to clarify that I have always had a trouble communicating my feelings due to fear of starting confrontation, and if anything I am more open him than I have ever been anyone else. Same goes the confidence. That wasn't very clear in the post, so I did just want to clarify that here for everybody.